All right, we're live. GM, everybody. Welcome to what's going to be another great DevNTell, brought to you by our friends at Pocket and Zerion. So if you didn't know, DevNTell is a 30-minute podcast for builders to showcase something they're passionate about or been working on in Web3. It's going to be an awesome project we've been working on, demonstrating you testing best practices, automation goodies, smart contracts, how to structure a project, etc. Basically, if you've got a passion for something, this is your opportunity to share with the Web3 community. And today I'm ecstatic to have Max from Hiro Systems, who's going to be giving us a awesome overview of how to build DeFi and Web3 with Bitcoin. Welcome, Max. Happy to have you on.
No, I'm really happy, really looking forward to this. I can't wait to get into it.
Yeah, man, it's going to be a good one. Folks who want to stay around for this. I guess before we get into the meat of the content, did you want to give a brief introduction about yourself, Max?
Yeah, I'd love that. Thank you. So, hi everyone. My name is Max. I'm developer advocate at Hiro. Hiro is a developer tooling company. We make software tools to help developers build, specifically on Bitcoin and stacks. And it is stacks and Bitcoin that I'm going to be talking about today. And I understand that this is going to be a little bit of like new relatively for developer DAO, given that developer DAO is a like Solidity and EVM kind of first community of developers. So I'm excited to open up the world to you all of like what it is that's going on in Bitcoin and what it is that's going on in stacks, which is what we call one of these Bitcoin layers. These kind of application spaces that make building on Bitcoin a little bit easier, given that Bitcoin, it's one of the things about it is that it's quite hard to build on, and that's because it is so simple. It does one thing and it does it very, very, very well. It does it so well that we don't think it's ever going to go down. And building on it can be a little bit challenging, but that's what these Bitcoin layers make possible, like Stacks. So Stacks has been around for, I want to say about 7 years in some iteration, but the actual blockchain was released in late 2020, early 2021. And through a novel consensus mechanism, it is intimately tied up with Bitcoin and therefore inherits and relies upon Bitcoin security by recycling its proof of work, the Bitcoin proof of work. And so ultimately, reorganizations of the Stacks chain to create fraudulent transactions would require reorging Bitcoin. So basically, is about as secure as it gets when it comes to Stacks chain state reorganization. So we have these like nice, good qualities of security, but now we're also bringing smart contracts. So I'm excited to set up for you all like why it is that you should care about Stacks. And then once you see the opportunity, then how it is that you might build on it, how you might take advantage of it, which is where Hiro comes in. So Hiro, the developer tooling company, we create the development environment tools. We have like runtime, virtual machine runtime environments that you could test, deploy, etc. Your smart contracts, and then also we create the JavaScript and front end frameworks for building the front ends for your application. So think the world of EVM with all these decentralized applications. That is where it is that we're going today, but it's going to be from a different set of tools, a different framework. It's like a slightly different just set of tools, but the main spirit of the thing is very familiar to you all. So it's not going to be it's not like it's 2009 and we're explaining blockchains. No, it's 2023. You all know what blockchains are. You all know what decentralized applications are. But the 0 to 1 new innovation is actually bringing it to Bitcoin. Cool. A little bit about me, by the way. So Max, I'm developer advocate at Hiro. I've been there for 1.5 years. I like to say that I first came into the space back in like 2011 or 12 when I bought Bitcoin for, I think it was like $4.50 or $5, and then sold it when it was $10 and thought I was a genius. And I call that I think I did the math. I think it's like a $40 million summer. So I did not have any concept of what it is that Bitcoin would amount to. Obviously, since then, my attitude has changed, and me alongside others now actually see it as not just like a triviality, but something revolutionary and worth building on. So I create educational content and head up developer relations at Hiro, and that's why I'm here. So with that, I can jump into my presentation, which will be basically just a little bit of overview of Stacks, and then I'm going to set up what is a real part of the opportunity. So Stacks is not just an L1, like there are so many of, like we've seen since 2021 in particular, this explosion of L1s and interest. It is an L1, it's a top 50 or so market cap L1. It's been around for a number of years. It's actually the only blockchain that has a Reg A filing with the SEC. So there was no initial coin offering. It was an actual legit SEC offering. And yet the thing that makes it special is particularly something that we're calling SBTC. SBTC is a trust minimized, decentralized, programmatic Bitcoin asset that exists on the Stacks chain that will exist. We have it in testnet, and final production is slated for early summer next year. So that is actually also what kind of highlights the sense of opportunities. Like now is the best time to learn these tools and learn how to build, and then actually have your application ready, such that when SBTC goes live and people can trustlessly or in a trust minimized way bridge their native Bitcoin into Stacks and then burn it and have it have native L1 Bitcoin again, that you can be ready for whatever influx of interest and usership that may come. So Stacks, SBTC, and then lastly, resources for how to learn how to build and some other stuff. So with that, I am ready to share my screen. Should I hit present? And
yes, sir. Got a lot of good stuff coming here. Excited.
Okay, yeah, and any questions so far, Narb? Should I just jump right into it?
None that I see. But everybody says good morning to you.
Good morning, y'all.
Yeah. But on that note, gang, if you do have questions for Max, please post them in the comment section and we will get to them during the session. But for now, let's get your... there we go.
Awesome. So I'm going to just go over we're going to keep this relatively short and sweet. And all of these are going to be links that you can visit. I'm going to drop all of them at the end. This is all this information there's plenty of it. So I'm going to keep it at the high level. We're not going to get really into the nitty gritty of how to build because there are plenty of resources. And then also we have a workshop with Developer DAO in January and in February. So when it comes time to actually hearing again from me how it is to use these tools and to build, we have plenty of resources there. Here I'm just still setting up and introducing what Stacks is and what the opportunity is. And mind you, again, I'm at Hiro. Hiro is formerly known as Blockstack, and they were the primary developers of Stacks, but then rebranded to Hiro, and now we do just have tooling. And Stacks is like a public blockchain like any other. Okay, so the Stacks Foundation, which is a nonprofit foundation, runs Stacks.co, which has all of the information here about what Bitcoin layers are, and opens you up to not only some understanding more about what Stacks is, including its novel consensus mechanism known as proof of transfer. This is a way in which Stacks miners actually secure the network. What they do is they spend Bitcoin. That Bitcoin goes to other participants in the ecosystem, people that stack their STX. Now, these are not it's kind of a play on the term stakers. This is not a proof of stake chain, but there are people that lock their STX and then they earn a Bitcoin yield for doing some of the work in securing the network. This proof of transfer recycles Bitcoin's proof of work, and it's how it is that Stacks builds upon Bitcoin security. So there's tons of information about that. Clarity smart contracts. Clarity is a smart contract programming language. It is not Solidity. It is a decidable non-Turing complete language, which at first is a slightly different programming shift It's not a declarative language like we're used to, like in JavaScript, say. And because it's decidable, it is a lot more secure than Solidity is. There are just a host of exploits and bugs that are just not even possible in Clarity because of the methodology of its design. And we have found that every single kind of application you can build in DeFi, you can, and in the world of DeFi today, you can build with Clarity. So it's just more secure, and also Clarity is the Clarity virtual machine is what the Stacks blockchain kind of maintains, and then that's where all of our smart contract applications exist. And then lastly, SBTC. This is that one-to-one programmatic Bitcoin asset that is, we actually just hit code completion on one of the major parts of the blockchain upgrade. So the two blockchain upgrade names to keep in mind, Nakamoto and SBTC. These are what are creating like faster block times. We're shooting for like 5-second block times because Bitcoin's, as everyone may know, 10-minute block times. Well, we're gonna have much faster block times with Stacks on the Nakamoto upgrade, and then the other component of that is SBTC, this programmatic Bitcoin asset. This is a way to, from a Clarity smart contract, write transactions to the L1 Bitcoin state, which is, in a trust minimized ways. We have not, it's kind of the holy grail in Bitcoin. How do you do that from another blockchain in a trust minimized, decentralized way? And then, some more information. And then lastly on the stacks.co site, if you want to go to the explore here, I'm just going to go to this next tab, which is, there are already a number of applications in Stacks. So these are all decentralized applications that exist. We have Alex, which is the biggest DEX on the chain. Arcadico is kind of like a MakerDAO stablecoin lending application, and there are a ton of others. Console is a Discord replacement. Gamma is was a premier NFT marketplace. LN swaps, you can do atomic swaps between Bitcoin and Stacks. There's a number of applications. I encourage everyone to look at them, but also there's still a lot of applications to be built. Like if you look at, DeFi Llama and you sort by TVL, there's still applications, like major application primitives that don't yet exist on Stacks. So there's a lot of opportunity to just be the first one to build some of these things. And then, just to give you a taste of the user experience, this is Alex. This is the largest DEX on Stacks, powered by Stacks. Also, they have pivoted to also include trading BRC20s through an order book model. Now, one of the things that has really brought attention to Bitcoin, building on Bitcoin, is ordinals. So there are a number of the way though that ordinals are primarily traded and exist, like activity exists kind of on the L1 through, they involve these indexers and partially signed Bitcoin transactions, and it's a lot, but developers are actually solving a lot of pain points and being able to actually transact with BRC20s, which are the ERC20 fungible token equivalents. So this is a Bitcoin L1 activity that Alex, which is powered by Stacks, is facilitating some of the trading of, and deeper in integration between Stacks and Bitcoin is coming with these Nakamoto and SBTC upgrades. So the wallet of choice is something known as Leather Wallet. Leather Wallet formerly used to be known Hiro Wallet, but it was spun out as a separate entity now. So now the Leather Wallet is both a Stacks wallet and also a Bitcoin wallet. So you're able to provide kind of Bitcoin first experiences for users that have this Leather Wallet. It's a really cool new paradigm of some people. The kind of vision we have is people have native Bitcoin and then they use like smart contract decentralized applications, and they don't even know that Stacks is underneath. That's how kind of seamless the vision for Stacks integrating with Bitcoin is. And just like any other, you can SBTC is a somewhat trusted. It's a non-custodial, but it's a trusted Bitcoin synthetic with just a kind of a random application. Here again, you're very familiar, like swapping pop up if anyone's like familiar with most or any DeFi application. So Alex is the biggest here. Arcadico, here's another application. They have a couple of apps, including these self-repaying loans. If anyone remembers Alchemix, I believe is like the innovator there back in 2021. Same thing again, just kind of motivating the some of the user experience for these applications, similar to the kind of DeFi applications we're all used to. But again, this time on stacks and with Bitcoin as a kind of primary unit of transaction or unit of currency. Now I've talked a lot about SBTC. SBTC is again, the kind of think of it as like the stacks Bitcoin. This is the one-to-one programmatic asset that's coming middle of next year, and this SBTC.tech is going to be the one-stop shop for all information pertaining to it. So anything from the overview deck, which will allow for just a kind of presentation style pitch about what SBTC is making possible, to facts about SBTC, to then also the roadmap and updates about not only when it hits production, but also the various public testnet milestones. So we already have public testnet SBTC. There will be like further and more feature complete versions of these testnets all the way up to production and mainnet over the years. So you can already build now with an SBTC on testnets that you could have whatever your vision for an application is. You can already kind of get started and interact with a testnet asset. Okay, so that's it's a lot of there on the stack side. I'm going to talk a little bit more about on the Hiro side. Hiro.so is the site for the company that I work for. If anyone's interested in like joining our newsletter and hearing more about what it is, we've got an excellent newsletter. You go to hiro.so, you can sign up here in this green box and subscribe. That's like a really fantastic place to just keep abreast of the developer related information pertaining to stacks and building on stacks and Bitcoin. So it's just a shout out there. And you'll see that we have a number of tools to build not only with stacks, but also Bitcoin and more specifically ordinals. So we maintain a public open source explorer. So if you were to go here, this is a explorer for ordinals. You'll see most inscriptions these days really relate to ordinals activity. Like the vast majority of ordinals activity is BRC20. So Hiro maintains an ordinals explorer that's open source. You can fork it and play around with it yourself. And then also, blockchain data indexers like Chainhook. On the stack side, we have other blockchain data indexers, Chainhook. And we also have this really cool thing called the platform. I want to speak about this platform for a moment. So I already clicked into it here. The platform is a one-stop shop for building and deploying Clarity smart contracts. And I'm just going to open it up here. Here is, I'm going to go to, this is like the homepage with my projects. And I can create a new project. And then these are going to be like example smart contract applications that I can start with. All of this is in browser. I can also import from GitHub a so-called Clarinet project. Clarinet is our local development tool. And you can import Clarinet projects and turn them into this platform-based development projects. And then also, by the way, there's an opportunity to import your local development environment. And so actually, not even use just your the web-based kind of default settings, but you can SSH your local development environment into it. And so all of your all the things that you're used to when it comes to your terminal, like Bash or ZSH profile, you can actually port with and then work with the platform. I'm just gonna click into, this is a project, and I open up one of the editors, and you'll see here like some of the, this is the smart contract. This is a standard non-fungible token collection contract written in Clarity. And I can do, from here, I can then go back and actually deploy it. If I were to, then connect my wallet, I could then deploy this directly from the browser to our blockchain. This is, Hiro has made a number of, I'm going to go back to this overview of all of our stacks tools. We have a number of, like Clarinet is this local development environment tool that simulates local blockchains, this and that. We have Stacks.js is like a front end framework. We have a ton of tools that work for a developer's local environment, and we are just increasingly putting all of that into platform. So that's a one-stop web-based shop for developing and deploying full stack Stacks applications. So definitely check out the platform. A lot of love went into this. We are super close with developers that use it and get a ton of feedback. But stuff like this is like really state-of-the-art tooling for creating full stack decentralized applications. So really, really excited about that. And lastly is our documentation, docs.hero.so. Here you'll see all of our ordinals tooling as well as all of our stacks-based tooling. And you'll see the Hiro platform as well. One thing I want to highlight is we are right now undergoing something called Hiro Hacks. Hiro Hacks is a challenge competition where we have 1, 2, now 3 different, like, you can think of them as like a weekend build. So you could just like show up here and then kind of start hacking away. Now, these do assume some familiarity with Clarity. So this is like your kind of intermediate stepping stone. The place to start would be to learn Clarity, which in some of the links I'm about to drop and provide you all, Clarity Camp is a self-paced course, so you can start learning actually the smart contract programming language. And then from there, you can go back to our docs and visit these Hiro Hacks, and you can get started building a Friendtech clone, a decentralized grants program, custom blockchain API. And we're going to continue to expand on what are these hacks. So these are like end-to-end tutorials. So where you can actually get started, because there's a core of each of these tutorials where you are copying and pasting. Like, you're not really, creating new code. You're just taking what is. But then there's a number of challenges for each of these hacks that have you stretch into like, okay, like write new functionality. Like, how would you please your user? What would be like a new a user experience to deliver or create? So you guys can get started here, but also the Clarity Camp. Now, don't worry, I have a ton of links. We're going to provide them all. But I just want to summarize that that what it is that we have here is the new blockchain. Well, actually not new, a few years old, but new in that some of the features that are coming to it are going to be bringing Bitcoin, one-to-one programmatic Bitcoin in a decentralized and trust minimized way. That's the promise of the SBTC protocol, is that it's not going to be, a custodian that's approving these transactions. It's going to be an open, decentralized set of signers that are going to be managing this one-to-one Bitcoin bridge. And that's going to be coming up soon. In the meantime, there are already a number of decentralized applications. And now is the perfect time to learn how to build with these tools, build using these like new primitives, and get ready for, the Bitcoin halving is in April. And SBTC comes out, like the Nakamoto upgrade is in April as well. SBTC comes out right on the heels of that. Now's a perfect time to get started using these tools, get a lay of the land, and create the next decentralized application that will see, all this increased interest in the space. So I think that's it on the presentation side. And Narb, I will kind of stop there, and then we can transition into any Q&A, any feedback. I'd love to know what you thought of the presentation and what you think of the kind of opportunity to build on Stacks.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this was an excellent overview. So quite clearly, there's a lot of tooling and all the necessary infrastructure in place for people to get started building. Um, I guess with all these tools in place, how easy is it for a primarily Solidity developer to get started with Clarinet, for example? So if they want to get started coding with Clarity, what's the learning curve to get going with that? From your past experience, do you think it's harder to learn than Solidity, just as hard?
Yeah, so it took to get it's to get as proficient. It's like it's a new language, and so there is a run up, and the first kind of like new thing to learn is the difference between these like decidable and so decidable language does not have for loops and does not have conditional jumps, which is like it's like a very common way for developers to solve problems. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't iterate or you can't iterate or something like that. You can. So there's a little bit of learning that the Clarity Camp is the best way to get started learning there, where you learn some of the primitive data structures and then how to create functions. I would say the Clarity Camp is the best way to start learning on the smart contract side. And then another phenomenal resource is the Bitcoin Builders Primer. This is a way to build a full stack Bitcoin and Stacks application, assuming basically next to no knowledge specific to Bitcoin and Stacks. So you could be a developer, not know anything, and this is like an end-to-end course that also includes some introduction about Clarity, but then also some front-end development and also knowledge of Bitcoin, which for people that are not familiar with it, Bitcoin is different on a number of levels from other blockchains. Like primarily, for instance, on the UTXO model versus the accounts model, which I'm not going to get into here. I mean, I could, but there's a number of things that make Bitcoin different, and then this course like really tackles and addresses. So it'd be like these two courses would be a fantastic way to get started. And then the workshop that we're hosting in January with Billy Jitsu and Developer DAO, either myself or another developer advocate will be there. That'll be a great way. And then we have a ton of educational content. If you go to stacks.co and you come to this learn, there's just a number of ways to stay in the loop and to read these tons of educational content that the foundation maintains, as well as Hiro. And I'll also say, because I will also drop my email address. That's a fantastic way to get in touch. So in addition to our newsletter, if you want to get a hold of me personally, if you want to drop, I'll drop my email, MaximEfremov@hero.so. That's a phenomenal way to get a hold of me. And I would say that Clarity Camp and that the Bitcoin Builders Primer gets you started with, the basics, the tooling, getting your development environment set up. That would be a great place to start.
Excellent. Yes, and we'll be sure to drop all this information in the YouTube description. So don't worry if you're scrambling to copy all these links. We got you covered there. So that was a great response. Rafa has a great series of questions. I don't know if we'll get to all of them, but first one, start here. Can you explain OP drop and SBTC? Also, which Oracle technology, if there is any, can we use with Stacks?
Yeah, thanks, Rafa. So OpDrop. So OpDrop is what is known as an opcode in the Bitcoin paradigm. It is actually when you construct transactions on the L1, on the Bitcoin L1, you are manipulating data, say like, counting how much Bitcoin you want to send, or, composing address destinations to send it. Those are operations, and each operation, even like addition, subtraction, doing the verification of a signature. All of those are specific, unique operations that have their own op code. And op drop is one of them, as well as op return. Op return are yeah, so basically, when it comes to SBTC bridging, there's been the SBTC core engineering team had one way that's been the primary way in which the bridging from Bitcoin to stacks would contain. It would include containing information in one of the opcodes. And recently, in the last few weeks, we actually had a breakthrough in just in a cleverer way, actually using a different opcode that makes less Bitcoin L1 transactions required in order to do the bridging. So that's the specific there. I'm not following the core engineering very closely on the op drop versus op return. So that's about the limit of what I could say there. And then as far as Oracle technology, yeah, so we're pleased to announce that Pith, the organization that makes Wormhole possible. Wormhole is the kind of like Solana first, but multi-chain bridging consortium. They use a data standard and data availability standard called that Pith maintains. Pith just launched. I think actually we're announcing it today, their integration with Stacks. And so you have access to Pith signed price data for all of the pricing pairs that they maintain, which is a number. I mean, like kind of, yeah, a lot. You can go to pith.network, I believe it's called. Pith network. Yeah, pith.network. And also you can visit the Stacks. You can visit stacks-pith bridge and see the Hiro systems, Hiro's repo pertaining to the how to use the price oracle in a smart contract. Yeah.
Awesome. We got a little bit of alpha here on DevNTell. Great question, Rafa. And a follow up to this. How does a 5-second block time on layer 2 compare to benchmarks for other layer 2 solutions? I think what Rafa's getting here is how does the performance of stacks as a layer 2 compare to the performance of layer 2s on EVM layer 2s? Like, can they expect the same sort of scalability?
Yeah. So yeah, layer 2s are. I was just talking to Bob Bodley yesterday. He's a CEO and founder in the Bitcoin layer space. He made an ordinals marketplace called Bionic, and he and I were having this conversation about how like sidechain and layer 2 are just unless you take like a really expansive view on it, there are so many different kinds of layer 2s and side chains and things like that. So, but that's to say, yeah, there are a number of L2s, and Stacks, when it was first made and in its current iteration, its current epic, we're calling it, before we get to Stacks 3.0, we're in Stacks 2.0 era. Stacks 3.0 will be Nakamoto and SBTC. Stacks actually anchors onto a 10-minute block time with Bitcoin. Which when Stacks was first made a few years ago seemed like a natural way to do it, and also I think the engineering for it was like a bit more like straightforward. Posting Stacks block hashes to the Bitcoin chain every Bitcoin transaction, and then we found that users are now. I mean, this is actually before our the 2021 L1 explosion, which definitely demonstrated the market's desire and preference for very fast block times. So that Stacks, took that cue, and then with the Nakamoto upgrade, we're gonna have faster block times that are just more consistent with what it is that most other L2s and even L1s provide, which is in the range of like seconds instead of minutes. Yeah, when Bitcoin was made, I don't think. I'd be curious exactly why 10 minutes was picked and not a few seconds like Ethereum. But anyway, yeah, Nakamoto upgrade will bring block times kind of in the same ballpark as we see with other L1s and L2s today.
Awesome. Great to hear, and great questions, Rafa and gang. I guess we're approaching time. Just to cap things off here, how can people get in touch with you and follow the latest and greatest from Hiro and Stacks on
Yeah,
socials or
so
whatnot?
definitely follow our Twitter. I could have this already loaded up. So Hiro is the Twitter to follow. Go to hero.so for the newsletter follow. My email is dropped there, Maxim Efremov at hero.so. And then also we have once you follow, you can tag, you can add Hero Systems directly, and you will get responses from us or from the social media team. And yeah, and then we have another developer advocate, Ryan Waits, as well as another dev advocate for the foundation, Kenny Rogers. Super knowledgeable team here, and happy to answer any questions. And also, we dropped that one dash tab link here in the comments that has a handful of links for how to get started, signing up for the newsletter, getting started coding, and a number of educational resources. That'd be the best bet.
Awesome. Yeah. And gang, this is the best time to start learning something new. As many of us probably will have some off time. And no better time to get started with developing on Bitcoin than now. And this will get you really prepped up for the workshops to come in the new year. And yeah, really looking forward to seeing what people in the community start to build with Bitcoin. Thank you so much, Max. I really appreciate you coming on, you and Hiro taking the time to educate us, and really looking forward to, like I said, how the community, all the cool things the community will start to build.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait. It's already blowing me away. And I'll see you all at the January workshop. We'll announce the dates. You guys follow NARB and the Developer DAO Twitter and Hero's Twitter, and we'll announce a specific date for that workshop in like middle January. But there's already a ton of places to get started. So I'll see you all in Discord and on Twitter.
Excellent. And before everybody leaves, I want to share the QR code for everybody to fill out the form to claim your NFTs for being a attendee here on DevNTell today. So what you want to do is take your regular QR code scanner on your phone, scan this bad boy, fill out the form, and you will be airdropped a attendee NFT for attending DevNTell today. You will have an hour and a half from now to fill out this form to get airdropped your NFT. And with that, just want to wish everybody a very happy Friday, happy weekend, and we'll catch you all back here next week for the final DevNTell of 2023. All right, gang. All
Thanks,
the best.
NARB.
My
Peace,
pleasure.
everyone.
See ya.